Welcome back to the Cutty and Govy show. We're here in downtown Boca Raton. The weather is gorgeous. The traffic is unbearable. The restaurants are insane in Govy. In about 4 weeks, we'll see the car carriers and all these people get the frig out of here. And we can go back to our normal life.
I don't know if they're getting out of here so fast. First of all, it's what, 10 degrees up north right now?
Right. It's very cold.
And if you're Canadian, it might best be easier to stay here because there's like a little friction right now between Canada and the United States.
That's funny, Govy.
I mean, they are the 51st state, future 51st
and Trump's going to watch the game tonight.
Now, this game tonight, it's United States versus Canada. This will be the biggest hockey game since the Americans were playing the Russians in 1980. They played 3 days ago and the Americans won, but there was fights 9 seconds into it.
Well, they're going to be fights 9 seconds into this.
But it's in Boston this time.
Oh,
so the
worse.
national anthem will not be booed like the last time. Matter of fact, the Canadian anthem might be booed. This is going to be one to watch.
What time's the game?
I think it's 8 o'clock tonight, something to watch.
All right, Govy. So like every week I say, what the hell are we going to talk about? Well, there's a lot to talk about. Why don't we start with Elon Musk and Doge? He's chopping and chopping. And I'm somewhat offended, being the Democrat that I am. They're basically saying that there's not 4 million Americans that are over 100 years old. Doge found 4 million Americans over 100 years old collecting Social Security. I think there's got to be at least 4 million Americans over 100 years.
Yeah, what's crazy is when he finds these things, the first thing you're supposed to say is, thank you, Elon Musk, for exposing this. But instead they're upset on the person that's finding this. And it's like they're talking, why should Elon Musk know our backgrounds? Why should we trust him? But yet they had no problems with Sam Brinton. Sam Brinton was the transgender cross-dressing guy that was stealing luggage. Remember, he was stealing all the luggage? That guy had the nuclear codes. They had no problem with him having the nuclear codes. That's okay. They have Mayorkas, who basically can say to you, the border is secure. We've done everything we can. The border is secure. They had no problems putting him through. What's the problem with Elon Musk solving things?
Well, I don't understand. How does the system work? I've worked hard my whole life just to, do my job. How does Guyana get $4 million for a video for some stupid gay pride something? Or how does the system work that these other countries are getting all this money for these things?
Well, I think it's not just the other countries. It could be for instance, that U.S. aid. Well, they gave $400 million to this Native American agency, and that Native American agency gave a lot of money to Elizabeth Warren to give a speech. So it funnels in. Elizabeth Warren says, I need the money to go there. They appease her. They send it there. They then take care of Elizabeth Warren. She then says, I'm not beholden to any pharmaceutical companies, but she is. Is
she married?
Yes.
Oh, she is?
She is.
Man, she's one rough woman.
Don't you remember when she was running for president, she opened up the beer in front of her husband? Pocahontas did everything for...
But what I'm waiting for now, Elon Musk is tearing apart the federal government, ripping every agency, going to the Pentagon, going to the Department of Education. When are the governors, and you heard it here first, folks, when are the governors going to start ripping apart their states, and then the mayors ripping apart the cities? Like the mayor of Philadelphia, if they did what Elon Musk is doing to these agencies in Philly, do you know how much corruption they would find?
Unbelievable.
It would be staggering. I think Philly is multi-billion-dollar budget.
I'll tell you what, you would find out if that ever happened between red states and blue states, who has more corruption, it wouldn't even be close, because you could just know New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, you would just know these cities, San Francisco, are all corrupt.
But why do you think a governor's not coming out and saying, I'm taking the lead of the federal government. I'm going to rip my state apart right now? Because they're the responsible party. They're the ones that would be guilty if there's fraud and there's neglect in their state.
Because I think that machine is much more corrupt than even the U.S. government. And I'll tell you why. The U.S. government, you will have a Republican president, you will have a Republican Senate, Republican House. That changes. No one gets it for life. If you said to me, Philadelphia, tell me when was the last Republican mayor? You have to go back 80 years.
Was that Rizzo?
No, he was a Democrat.
Was he?
You have to go back 80 years.
Wow.
If you said, who controls the city council? Tell me the last time a Republicans controlled
Or
that.
Chicago or L.A. Well, I guess L.A. was Reagan.
L.A. was, no, you had Schwarzenegger was the governor.
Right.
But he was the governor, Pennsylvania has a governor. We're talking cities.
Right, cities.
We're talking cities. And that's where you have the mayor of Los Angeles right now, Karen Bass. She just got up there. She gave her first interview since. And she said, I wish I'm doing an investigation on myself. No one told me that this could happen. I mean, she sounds like an idiot. They warned her. And then the person doing the interview said it was all over the news.
Well, how does somebody like that get elected? I just don't even understand the process. I remember our friend Alan Dom trying to become elected in the city of Philadelphia, and it's an arduous process, and he had a lot of competitors.
Did he have George Soros?
Spent a lot of money.
Did he have George Soros backing him?
I don't think he did.
He backed himself.
But he has as much money as George Soros.
But he backed himself. And, Karen Bass had a George Soros, had somebody, and then city council and all these people, by the way, taking the money that they're feeding. Then it's a cycle. It's like they just exposed basically all these agencies that Elon Musk is looking into. 95% of them are Democrats that work there, and they're also unionized. So the union takes their union dues and feeds the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party then passes stuff and hands out. It's like a circle. It's like, I'll give you the money, you give it back to me. That's how the Democratic Party works.
Well, that's what happened with Kamala Harris, with Oprah Winfrey, and all the people that she all the celebrities that endorsed her. They essentially gave her money and she gave it back to them.
In spades.
Yeah.
In spades.
But did you see that interview with Elon Musk and Trump?
Yes.
That was great. What you think of that? First of all, they had the chairs sitting on top of each other. I didn't understand that. They were sitting, touching each other, and Elon was twitching and moving around. And did you see his shirt? It said tech support.
Yeah.
We need fun shirts. What's the shirt you got today, Govy?
Super Bowl. Eagles,
Super Bowl champs.
Locker room thing. I mean, this, you know what? Why it's special to have a shirt like this that you're a Super Bowl
Why isn't it green, though?
It's that midnight color that they have.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully next year when we win, it'll be Kelly green. But the reason why it's important to buy some of these shirts after they win is if you were like Dallas, it's been 31 years since they've been in even an NFC championship game.
You're a different size now.
But if I waited 31 years, I would be 93 years old. This is it. This could be, you never know when the last time. I mean, people in Dallas right now, they only wish they could have a locker room champion T-shirt. But, getting back with
Elon Musk, Donald Trump, the interview.
Yeah, I mean, getting back when you see Elon Musk there, you got to take a second and say, when they were discussing some of the things he does, Neuralink, by the way. I mean, first of all, the guy, this is what he's doing for society. He's coming out with Tesla cars that, by the way, in the future, think about this. Think about everybody that has parents that lose their driver's license and they're trapped and they don't know how to get anywhere. You will now be able to get them a car. They will be able to get in their car and say, James, take me to the supermarket. and they'll be able to get driven to the supermarket, and they have their freedom back. Then how about all the people that got into accidents that became paralyzed? And he's coming up with a way that if he has to put something in your brain or to give you the nerves to,
That's unbelievable, that Neuralink.
oh, and then if that's not enough, he has to rescue astronauts that are stuck in space because of Boeing.
What do you think of that story that he told where it was a political decision not to go rescue those astronauts?
I believe it.
That's criminal.
Well, because Biden didn't want the astronauts maybe to come back in October if something should happen right before the election. So he said, well, wait. So now they're waiting until Musk can get them back, which will be like next week. It will be the first week of March. It'll be 310 days roughly.
So do you think those two astronauts have had sex?
No.
Like, let me ask you this question, Govy. If you're one of those astronauts up there, would your wife over
You got to produce a movie, Caligula. you think
would your wife allow you to have sex with the other astronaut? You're up there 310 days. Would she say, Govy, it's okay. I understand you're stuck in space in a little cube with this
I think we would
hot
have
chick.
I think we would have an understanding that if you're more than 40,000 miles away from home.
There's a 40,000 mile rule.
I mean, if you're close to the moon, I think anything goes. But, you think, by the way, in politics, you think the back room of everything that's going on between politics, it's Caligula.
Megyn Kelly will have an affair with Robert F. Kennedy.
Kristi Noem?
Kristi Noem. Well, she did Corey Lewandowski, right?
Okay.
Didn't she do Corey?
Yeah.
Who is she having an affair with now? She's having who did I say last night? I forget already.
Yeah, she is with somebody right now.
Not Donald Trump. I forget who it is, but she's beautiful too, right?
And then you have the Congresswoman Bobart.
Right. She's in a closet, coat closet with somebody.
She went home with Kid Rock.
Oh yeah, she was caught coming out of Kid Rock's hotel room
at what, 4:00 in the morning?
Right. Oh, she was just up there playing some gin with him.
No, he was playing music for her.
Right. Oh,
but I mean, so you got Elon Musk, and he's doing all these things. He's now. How do you take care of Tesla, Neuralink? Oh, by the way, the sky thing to give internet to the people of North Carolina, has the space thing, then doing Doge. I mean, you got to give this guy a standing ovation. I mean, you really do.
You know what I think they should do a TV show on, because I would love to see this show. They should have an interview with all these people's personal assistant. Wouldn't you love to meet Elon Musk's personal assistant? That person must be unbelievable to organize this man's life and to schedule him every 15 minutes to run his world.
And probably spit out a kid. Probably has a kid with him. that way she gets fine. She probably has a kid.
Elon just had his 13th kid, by the way, folks. But don't you think it would be cool having everybody, all these big, wouldn't you love to meet Donald Trump's secretary, his personal assistant that's sitting outside of his office?
Well, look at his lawyers that you get to meet. You get to know some of these people.
Haba.
But I mean, it's look,
Kellyanne Conway.
Laura Trump.
Hi, Kellyanne.
Yeah, Laura Trump is having a TV show on Fox on Saturday nights, but it's different. She's going to have a 1-hour interview, basically, that you get to meet all the people on the cabinet. And by the way, he has a dream cabinet.
I know, but it's like it's a complete setup. Her father-in-law is the president of the United States. I mean, I watched her interview today talking about her show. And she said, when I ran the RNC convention, she said it like 5 times. I mean, and my father-in-law, the president, and my father-in-law, the president. I mean, come on, give me a break. Govy, if our father-in-law was the president,
I would say it more times.
We'd have a lot more subscribers. Subscribe to our show, please.
I would be wearing a shirt. Instead of this, it would have a picture of my dad on it. I'm telling you, I don't think she uses it enough.
Do you think she's good?
I think she's excellent.
Are you going to watch her show on Saturday night?
I'll give it a shot. I'll DVR where you can go back now. I mean, you don't have to tape anything.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
But I like listening to certain things. I like listening to Trump when he shoots from the hip, can say things, and then you look at the market today. he sat there and said, Boeing. We're going to have to look into Boeing. I don't like what's going on.
Well, he's pissed off about Air Force One being delayed. Trump wants his new jet.
So did you see what happened to Boeing stock as soon as he said that?
What happened?
Down 5.5 points as soon as he says it.
Oh,
Boom.
my God.
I mean, well, listen, you don't want Doge looking into Boeing. You know there's something there. I mean, didn't they find out that, and you got Pete Hegseth, he's looking into the Pentagon. I mean, that's going to be great.
Oh, my God, the amount of money. But how about Vlad Zelensky? What do you think? What's going on with Vlad? You know, Trump basically, he started saying Trump's no good. Trump's saying he's a dictator. Now, you know, I think Vlad's done. I mean, he's pissing off the wrong psychotic guy.
Well, I think Zelensky, first of all, he backed the wrong horse.
Right.
And as Barack Obama famously said, you know, losing has consequences. So in October, Zelensky came to Pennsylvania on a campaign basically stop for Kamala Harris on a swing state on Pennsylvania, where before you knew anything, that could have determined the election, basically campaigning for Kamala Harris because he owed it to Biden. And of all the money he took, what did he take? $400 billion or $300
billion? Well, they say $100 billion. They have no idea where it is.
It's
nobody can account for $100 billion. $100 billion, not 100 million. 100 billion they can't account for.
Well, we know a couple million went to his wife because it's on her arm with jewelry, handbags, and cars.
Unbelievable.
But, you know, he backed the wrong guy. Trump all of a sudden is looking at the guy thinking, wait a second. You have your country, your cities are destroyed. How long do you expect this to go on for? I mean, for 3.5 years, nobody talked to Russia. Biden didn't do it. There was no negotiations. So how long does this war go? How long do you go up to the American people in your fatigues, as you said during our podcast? Why can't this guy change clothes?
Why doesn't he have a suit?
Right. He comes in these fatigues.
Billions.
And that way, and by the way, Congress, when Pelosi was there, and Kamala Harris, they're all giving the standing ovation, wearing their Go Ukraine. For what? For our money to be going to Ukraine for what? Forever?
Well, how much money do you think he stole and gave Biden? I mean, he had to steal in the billions, right?
Well, first of all, he got Trump impeached the first time. He didn't cooperate.
Right, big bad
He's
move.
no friend of Trump. And finally, Trump said, enough of this guy. You know what? The money stopped. So he's basically saying, I'm going to come up with a settlement. You're going to lose some land. And maybe the land that he's going to lose has the rare minerals in it that Putin's making a deal for Trump and saying, you could have the rare minerals. I'm going to take the land.
Well, what do you think's going to happen? You think that Trump is essentially going to make a peace of deal with Putin and shove it down Ukraine, Vlad's throat and just say, take it or leave it. We're not giving you any more money. If you don't take it, you're dead.
Well, I think what Trump's also doing is he's making sure that the people of Ukraine are going to sit there and say, wait a second, 3.5 years later, we gave up this land. We have 1 million people dead. Our cities are destroyed. It's going to take 2 decades to get it back, and we'll never get it back to normal. These churches from, hundreds of years old. Is this was your endpoint? This was how you thought this game ended? And I think Zelensky, who did not have a election, I think he will be living in Paris.
Right, with his billions of dollars.
With his at least a couple $1 billion. He'll be living in Paris. Ukraine, Trump gave a message to the rest of Europe saying, I told you to give money to NATO, 2% of your GDP. You didn't do it. You're on your own now. Now, all of a sudden, Europe is sitting there saying, you know what? We can't count on Donald Trump right now because he told us to protect ourselves. We didn't.
Well, all I have to tell you is I think that we're lucky, at least, that this is going to come to an end. I'm waiting for, though, the controversy. Remember in the last term, they said that Trump was in Putin's pocket, that he was a pawn of Putin, that Putin was a KGB spy and psychologically beat Trump. So now they're going to start arguing that Trump forcing a deal down Vlad's throat is a Putin move.
I think people
Do you know what I'm saying?
I
They're
do.
kind
I know what you're saying, but I think people are so fixated that they're not open-minded. Like, for instance, this Nazi. I mean, I'm so tired of the word Nazi and Trump's a Nazi, and they're now starting it up again. And and where you get to see where it's brainwashed. If you're Jewish, if you can't sit there and say Trump is an ally of Israel and the Jews, then you're so brainwashed, because I don't know what more he can do to prove it to you besides having Huckabee,
Yeah, I mean,
Witkoff,
settling the
Rubio.
Middle East thing. His
Basically,
daughter's an Orthodox Jew. His grandkids are Orthodox Jews.
these dead hostages that came out, the babies, that's enough for him to say to Bibi, just flatten whatever is left, get rid of everybody, because there shouldn't be one living Hamas person left. Get rid of it, and we're not going to go back to that. There's going to be no negotiation. But for Jews to come up to me still and say, how can you be voting for Trump? How could you like him? I have to turn around and say, you don't think he's an ally? I mean, what more can he do to prove it to him?
And I think if Bibi has an extra a drone, he should send it to Kanye West's house. I mean, what's that whack job?
You know what?
This guy he's mentally ill. I mean, they need to lock him up. And I don't understand. He has these Yeezy or whatever they're called shoes that are selling like crazy. Who the hell are buying these shoes?
I don't know. All I know is Kim Kardashian had, several kids with
Yeah,
them?
like 4 kids.
I mean, enough of her. I mean, someone should shine a light on her and say, seriously, you're going to say anything people want to keep up with? Who wants to keep up with the Kardashians? Seriously.
I mean, I guess it's the drama. They're married to those basketball players. And
Would
all
you
that.
be happy? Would you be
I
happy if these are your kids?
I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. But
they
people,
love that. I mean, they must love that.
I think people like failure. I think that people like to watch, it's
chaos?
It's like when you're on I-95 and there's a wreck, everybody slows down to see the wreck. And the Kardashians are a wreck. Kanye West is a wreck. Mel Gibson was a wreck. It's like my book, Gone in 60 Seconds. These people are wrecks, and people are slowing down to watch them.
No, they go against your chapter because they're not gone in 60 seconds.
Oh, yeah, they're still going.
Nothing can stop them. It could be Tristan Thompson can say, hello, Chloe. I just want you to know, I had our 3rd kid out of wedlock. I love you. Okay, you can come back. It's like, what shock more? What more can he do?
Well, I'll tell you what's going to shock.
She did go from Lamar Odom. Remember Lamar Odom?
Yeah.
Lamar Odom to Tristan Thompson. Seriously.
Oh man. Well, he was on drugs. But Govy, how about next week when you get on that plane to go up north, when the pilot goes on the radio and announce himself and says, passengers, you have a 50% chance of arriving alive on this plane today. How many planes have crashed in the last week?
Like
they're all crashing, flipping over. It's crazy.
I don't want to be a conspiracist, but Trump knew right away that helicopter, they didn't put the switch on. So to let him know that what other planes are around, that military helicopter knows where everything is because it's used to combat.
Right.
She went 400 feet in the air rather than 200.
The pilot was a woman.
She had 500 hours. That's not much. Her job.
I'm not saying that in any direction. I'm just explaining what he's saying.
Her job before that, when you saw the Medal of Honor being presented to Hillary Clinton, to George Soros' son, which is one of the highest civilian. She was the person that put the medal around your neck. She was basically working in the White House as Biden's, I'm not going to say lackey, but someone that puts the medals on people's neck.
But these planes are dropping out of the sky.
Delta supposedly, they're a big DEI company at the time.
Those pilots were women.
And the crew, they decide to go all women on this crew to do everything. And that plane, I don't know, it looked to me like it came in fast and hard. I think it's going to turn. By the way, the pilots are alive. It will probably come out pilot error.
I don't know. It's pretty hard to imagine that an airplane is landing in Canada where I'm assuming there's snow all the time. and the runway condition had something to do with the fact that that plane
It could have
crashed.
skidded, but it came in pretty fast and hard.
It had to be pilot error.
And it's going to come out.
You would think so. But, you know, you assume if it's a chance that it's going to be a dangerous landing, they're going to send the plane around. They're not going to let it land.
So let me ask you, when you're hanging upside down
Right.
in the plane, strapped to your seat,
Yeah.
and for a brief second, you got to figure out, okay, if I undo my seatbelt, I fall to the ground and I could break my neck. I mean, you have to think for a second. Like, this isn't, like, you got to, like, get your sorts.
But it's not that far. You're not going to.
It's pretty far.
6 feet.
And there's people all around you and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
You're
now,
happy you landed.
so now
I mean,
you survive. And the Delta says to you, I'm going to give you $30,000.
right.
Do
Can
you
you
sit there and
imagine?
take it? Or what do you think?
Are you crazy? Well, first of all, we're in a, we're fortunate, and we're thinking millions. I think the people that have literally 30,000 would change their life may consider it.
They already had a person that said it's minimum of 100.
Yeah, I mean, but is it everybody has to agree to 30,000, or they can pick one or two off at a time?
I think that they want the majority to see if
Right.
it goes. That's what I would. Some people maybe are really hurt and they can't. But what's funny, when you see mainstream media now and they try to give you a video, and this is how you see where they can't compete with the real news. They're giving you some blurry vision of a plane coming down the airport. Nothing could be better than the guy taking the videos, walking out of the plane, hearing it. Like, that's video.
And I wonder why you're not seeing more videos. You have to imagine there's got to be 1,000 videos out there. I've seen the same one over and over and over again.
The stewardess did yell to people, drop it. They were telling them, drop the phones.
But are you following this Rocky ASAP verdict?
He beat it.
But so this guy, Rocky ASAP, I don't even know who the hell this guy is. He's
married to Rihanna.
He's married to Rihanna.
She's
like
a billionaire.
Big shot guy, whatever. He was accused of shooting this guy or a gun, whatever. They offered this guy a plea deal. He had a gun charge for shooting somebody where he was facing 25 years in jail. They offered him a plea deal, 6 months in jail. And he said, I'll roll the dice on a jury. And he won. Wouldn't you have taken 6 months in jail? You're facing 25 years. There's video. There's testimony that you shot this guy. There's pictures of you with a gun.
Yes.
You would have taken 6 months
Unless he knew that there was going to be someone on that jury, one or two, that are going to say.
Don't you think it had to be a fixed deal? Who wouldn't take? When you have all that evidence.
Was it in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
That's why he decided. He figured, look, OJ was free. OJ's free.
25 years in jail is a long time. I mean, you're getting 6 months. They said he would have only served 30 days.
You know what? You talk about a law case. It's a great case that's just coming up. Alan Dershowitz, is suing JFK's grandson, Jack.
What's that about?
Jack Schlossberg.
Right.
This guy, by the way, this kid is like 30-some years
and how
old.
old's Dershowitz? 109?
80-something. But this kid, Jack, lives at home, 30-some years old, skateboarder, has a Harvard education, like a Columbia or Yale education. He's off the deep end talking. Like you should hear he's telling Dershowitz, you killed your wife, you did this. I mean, Dershowitz found out that I can legally sue him now. It would probably hold up. All of a sudden, Jack now wants to go. He went on Instagram or something yesterday. He's now off. They're going to try to, when you have Trump behind you and other stuff, I mean, this guy's an idiot. I'm telling you, I want Dershowitz to put this guy to the wall. And I want, but
what's he get out of the guy? Does he have any money?
Well,
I mean, his parents have money. I understand.
He tried to embarrass Robert Kennedy. You can make him embarrassed. By the way, you could cost him a lot. Maybe there's other stuff you could do. Destroy the name. His mom is Carolyn.
Right. So, Govy, I want to get some of my money back that I lost to you during the football season. I'm willing to take an under-over bet that RFK Jr. is in a sex scandal within 1 year. He's in within 1 year. I'm taking the under. 1 year or less. He's involved in a sex scandal.
You know, when you play the game roulette, you know you can put your chip on a corner.
Yeah,
and you get
4.
And you get 4. But if you put it on one number,
right,
you get like the pays off like 30. You know,
yeah.
I would make a bet with you, like your first chip, knowing you're going to say Megan Kelly. That would put
I'm not even going to guess who it is, but and I'm including sex texting as sex, like he did with the reporter. Any kind of illicit, illegal, inappropriate contact with a woman other than his wife, I win my bet.
I wouldn't
a year
take that.
Or less.
A year or less, I think you win. I think that's a winning side.
He's a mess.
The question is, does he finish his term?
Oh, man, I'll put all the money on that.
What do you think? That he doesn't?
There's no way he doesn't. There's no way he finishes his term.
I think he does.
Why?
Because he's Robert F. Kennedy.
You don't think he's going to piss off Trump or he's going to do something stupid?
No.
Or
Trump, if you're loyal to him, there's nothing you can do to him.
His wife lives on the left coast. He's in Washington, D.C. Right there, that's a bad recipe. I mean, it's just not going to work.
That is a bad recipe.
Unless she's going to move.
But what happens? Does the bet count if his wife, Hines, isn't that her name?
Cheryl Hines.
If she says, "Go ahead, I'm okay with it."
Well, it counts. I mean,
you don't think when she met him, the guy, his ex-wife who committed suicide, and he had a diary. He in his
39 people in a year. He had a pretty good run
and he
there.
wrote it in his own handwriting.
Right.
So what does she think? I mean, like,
how stupid is he? He keeps a diary in his own handwriting of the
of everything.
Proclivities of each woman he slept with, 39 within that year.
And graded them. Graded them on like the performance and how it was.
Now, do you think they graded him?
No. They didn't know that they were being graded. You know. By the way, how many do you think he taped?
I don't think he has tapes. Do you think he taped them?
Why not?
Oh, God, this guy's a whack job. Another whack job.
By the way, this jail, in New York, has Sam Bankman-Fried, who, by the way, came out that he likes Trump and he thinks this whole lawfare because the judge who put him away is the one that ruled on Trump with that E. Carroll or something. So all of a sudden, this guy that gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the Democratic Party, he didn't get pardoned. All of a sudden, he's trying to kiss the ring of Trump. Sam Bankman.
Right.
So he's in jail. P. Diddy's in jail there. The guy who...
What's going on with P. Diddy? Has anybody heard from him?
He's claiming it's racist now, something racist.
God.
Then you got the guy who killed the insurance guy.
And then you had that mob guy that you see on TV now, whatever his name is. He was in that jail too. He's on TV talking about he beat somebody up for Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, they could have like a poker game down.
Oh my God! I watched it last night. Some mob guy, I forget his name, Colombo crime family guy or whatever. So he just got out of jail and he said he beat somebody up in jail for the Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't even know the guy's name.
Yeah, crazy. So I got a situation that took place. Tell me how you handle this.
Go ahead, Gabby.
I'm at a sandwich shop in town. That's a well-known sandwich shop.
Mm-hmm.
The line is out the door.
And there's a small area to stand?
No. So now we're all getting up to give our order. You work your way inside. You're there. It's very tight, so everybody sees everything. There's 4 people behind the counter making sandwiches. And this girl who gave her order, she's looking at the guy making the sandwich. He has his back towards you.
So you can see the people making your sandwich. Okay.
So she sees the guy making his sandwich. I can see the guy making mine. They're all staying there. They all have like the order that they can put down there. And her guy making her sandwich is ready to sneeze, but he's working with both hands. So
is he wearing gloves?
He's wearing gloves.
Okay.
But when he sneezed on her sandwich.
Ugh.
She looked at me. And without talking, it was like telepathy. She looked at me like, did you see what I saw? And I, without saying a word, my eyebrows went up like I saw what she saw. Then, after a second went by, she looked at me like, do I say something? Like, she didn't ask me. We're like talking through telepathy. Should I say
Neuralink, between Neuralink.
I'm saying I wouldn't eat that sandwich. No way would I eat that
absolutely
sandwich.
call the guy out. You sneezed on my... Larry David would say, you sneezed on my sandwich. I want a new sandwich.
She was in her 20s.
Doesn't
She was
matter.
in her 20s.
How much is a sandwich? $20?
She took the sandwich.
I wouldn't.
Because she took the sandwich because I think she's, there's all these people there. It's a very popular thing. When people come in, they say, hey, Russ, how... Like, they know everybody in there. I wouldn't have taken that sandwich.
I wouldn't go back to the place. I would embarrass myself, say, I'm sorry, I'm not taking that sandwich. I saw you sneeze on it. I would never go back to that place. Even if it's great.
It's the best out there.
I know, but are you... Like, I'm a germaphobe at the gym. I have to wipe everything down. Like, even the machine that you touch, I have to wipe it down.
When you're at the gym and you see someone working out next to you on the elliptical.
Right.
And they're on there sweating like crazy. It's
right.
Like,
I usually don't work out next to that person.
No, but if they're working, they're it's a normal sweat.
Right.
And you see them leave the machine. If they don't wipe it down, do you say anything?
I would not say anything. I would not say anything.
Would you say anything to a guy there saying, hey, by the way, or you just would leave it to the next guy there? Because as soon as I get on the machine, I wipe it down anyway.
I mean, I'm not getting in a little pissing match. If I see somebody peeing in the shower, I'm saying something to a manager. But if some guy's sweating on a machine, that's the gym that I go to. They have these cleaning people that go around and wipe down all the equipment all the time. So I'm assuming if the person doesn't wipe it down, you're supposed to. But if that person, there's a cleaning person that would wipe it down. I might say something to the cleaning person, hey, that machine, that guy didn't clean it.
Am I allowed to mention the gym's name that I went to here? So I was, you talk about a problem. I remember talking to the general manager of the Lifetime Gym in Boca Raton.
He's going to get sued, folks.
and they had a sign outside the steam room that said, in the men's steam room, that said, no urinating in the steam room.
God.
And I said to the guy, if you have to put a sign up there, it means there's a problem.
Right.
Like, there's a problem. I go, how many people are urinating in the steam room? And that's disgusting. And that you have to put a sign up means like you're aware of this situation.
Well, 60 years ago when I went to overnight camp, we used to take the warm water when somebody was sleeping and put their hand in it, and they used to pee in the bed. I guess the steam...
I put a flashlight in their eyes yelling, train.
But I guess the steam makes you pee. I don't know.
But it was like...
But getting back to the dilemma over the sandwich, what happened? What did you do? Did she took the sandwich?
She took the sandwich. She looked at me with a face like meek. Like she was meek and like saying, I'm a cow. Like, I don't know. I would have, if you wanted to do that way, take the sandwich and throw it out. But there's no way with all the flu that's going on, there's no way I would be eating that sandwich. So she took it.
Were you with your wife?
She was in the car. I was picking up a sandwich for her.
But there was nobody to discuss it with, like to go over the facts of the case?
I talked to my wife afterwards. She said that she would have taken the sandwich.
Right.
Because she wouldn't have wanted to make a scene.
I would have made a scene.
And she would have thrown it out.
Fuck them. I would have thrown them an extra $10 and said, make me another sandwich. You sneezed in it. So I would have made up for the fact that I was a dick and calling him out because he sneezed on my sandwich. But I would have thrown him another $10.
Because everybody likes you. No matter where you go, you can go to whatever store here. If it's the smoothie place, they like you. You go to Publix, they like you. You go to a bagel place, they like. There's not a person you come in contact with that doesn't want to go out with you.
Just takes $5 more for them to like you, Govy. You can offend them, but you give them $5, they like you.
So your course of the day, you have conversation with the Publix person, the smoothie person, the bagel person.
Love the cashier at the Publix place. Love you make friends everywhere you go, Govy. But I don't know. Do you think the woman ate that sandwich? I hope not.
I think
feel
she did.
Oh God, that's horrible.
Or she gave it to her boyfriend.
Maybe that's why she didn't complain, because it was her boyfriend.
Right, the question
sandwich.
is,
and she's laughing. She
Right.
hates the guy.
So
She's
the
laughing.
question is, let's say it was for her boyfriend. Would you tell her? Would you tell let's say you took the sandwich and it was for your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Would you tell her?
Well, let's say you're married 35 years and you hate your wife or your husband. Give them the sandwich. Right?
But if you tell her, you know they're not eating it. They're not going to eat it because you get a backbone once you come home.
Right.
Once you come home, you say they sneezed in it. You would say, "Well, why would you take it?"
Oh,
but I guess they didn't take it.
You had to call Larry David because he's coming back. He's going to do another season. That would be a great episode. I could see him standing there with Leon with the guys sneezing.
Well, by the way, there was one episode that he was really hungry, and the guy was bringing him a soup. And someone that before he brought it to him, the table right before Larry, the guy said, "How's your family?" And the guy's sitting there with the soup, and he's getting into this 10-minute conversation.
I saw that one, yeah.
And Larry goes, "Well, how long do I have to wait to get my soup?"
Or can you imagine George Costanza in that scene? You know, with standing there with Jerry with the guy sneezing in his thing.
That would be something.
All right, folks. Boy, what a fun show! What a fast show.
Yeah, that was something. But
Govy, everybody, my son went to the parade in Philadelphia. He said it was an unbelievable, over 1 million people were there in Philly for that Super Bowl parade.
You know what was funny? The mayor decides someone didn't tell her that this is like a celebration parade where the people have been drinking since 4 o'clock in the morning. She gets up there on this platform and she starts talking about that the chants were "wrap it up." Did you ever hear people yell "wrap it up"? Because she just like had to move on.
Crazy. All right, folks. Thank you for coming. Cutty and Govy show. My business podcast, Left Foot, Right Foot podcast. Subscribe to both, like both, tell everybody about our stuff. Thank you for coming in today.
See you next week.
'Cause I'm on